On today's show,
how worried are you about the struggling Cavs, Harden's banged up wrist, and C-Webb and T-Mac's Hall of Fame chances?
Carmelo Anthony, Elfrid Payton, and Shaquille O'Neal get some worst of the week acknowledgement.
And it's me, Mario Hezonja, in this week's Top 10 Plays from the past 7 days.
It's Friday, March 31st. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you here on Friday. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tas Melis.
Yes, happy Friday.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over yonder, it's the bearded one, it's Trey Kirby.
Oh!
Hey, yo! Trey, what do you got, man?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, Jimmy Butler got poked in the eye last night, and when he showed up for his post-game interviews, he had a pretty interesting look.
Sean tried to gouge my eye out. I don't know why. I thought I'd be like One-Eye Willie from the Goonies, so I told him to make me an eye patch in the back.
Looks a little bit more like Dr. Dre in the California Love video to me, but One-Eyed Willie works too, and it brings us to today's question. What other NBA players look like movie characters? For instance, I think Miles Turner has the exact same haircut as Dave Chappelle in The Nutty Professor. Kristaps Porzingis looks like Brendan Fraser when he played basketball in Bedazzled, and of course Steven Adams looks like the animated version of Captain Hook. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter what other NBA players look like movie characters. Send us your best tweets to hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you a little bit later.
All right, get those tweets in. We got a fun Friday show tonight. Tass will award the dishonor for worst of the week, and we'll count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days. But we start with a little segment called How Worried Are You? It's been a while here on the starters since we've done this. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to determine just how worried we are about specific teams and players, and to make things easier, we have the worried scale.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the worried scale, there are 5 levels. Level 1, milk 1 day past expiration date worried. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
you
don't
can
worry.
still drink that milk.
Yeah.
Level 2, tummy trouble in traffic worried. This was my life last week, and let me tell you, it gets scary. Level 3, you're gonna miss your flight worried, aka how all of us feel when we're traveling with Tas Melis. Level 4, left a candle burning at home worried. Don't do this. You're gonna get burnt. And level 5, daughter dating a biker worried. My worst nightmare. You don't want the Hells Angels as in-laws. Our first thing to worry about, following last night's loss to the TNT Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers are now the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference and have lost 11 of 19 since the All-Star break. But this is LeBron James we're talking about here, and a LeBron James team is never worried. So guys, how worried are you about LeBron and the Cavs?
I'm level 3. Gonna miss your flight worried. I think you gotta be worried about these Cleveland Cavaliers a little bit because they haven't been playing well for a long time. You can't just flip the switch if you haven't been playing well that long. It's more of a dimmer. It takes some time. You can't just say, we're gonna play well tonight. You gotta play well over a period of time. That being said, you can't go to the other end of the scale and say level 5 because these are the Cavs.
Right.
And there is actually lots of time left. You know, they've got 8 games left. They're in control of their destiny for the number 1 seed. And the first round matchup in the East shouldn't be that tough. But if they played the Celtics, Wizards, or Raptors the way they're playing right now, they wouldn't win.
Yeah, the problems are at both ends of the floor, and specifically in the month of March. This is actually the worst month of LeBron's career, other than his first full month back when he was a rookie. They're 6-10.
Wow.
And the problems are just teams are scoring far too easily against them, and their offense is just really bogged down right now. They're playing far too slow, and they're just not loose and free like we've seen them play before. And there's a lot of factors that come into this. They're incorporating a lot of new players, other guys are coming back from injuries, and sometimes you just go through a bit of a trot where things aren't going too well, and that's really what's happening. But I think last night against the Bulls, you sort of saw all those things happen. Got off to a good start, couldn't keep it up. Bulls, who likely won't make the playoffs, actually handled them pretty easily in the end.
Yeah, well, the TNT Bulls can't be beat.
Well, that's also
they're,
true, yeah.
You know, they're 20 straight when they're playing
Yeah.
on TNT. But I think level 3 sounds about right. Yeah, level 2, level 3. They've been bad for, honestly, they've been like a 500 team for half the season at this point, so that's not great. But it comes down to, like, which history do you weigh more? Do you go with recent history, which of course is LeBron, always going to the finals over the last 6 years? You got LeBron, and he's healthy, you're going to the finals. That's what recent history says. But, you know, NBA history says you can't be this poorly defensive or this bad defensively and expect to either win a title or even probably get there. 23rd on that end of the floor, 23rd defensive rating. That just doesn't
concern.
happen. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen. And yes, they were bad last year, but they weren't that bad.
Yeah.
And they got better in the playoffs. So I don't know which one you weigh more.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is their body clocks just know it's not playoff time quite yet, so they're not picking it up quite yet.
Right.
At some point over the next few weeks, their body clocks, they're like Kramer from Seinfeld. They don't need an alarm, but at some point they got to wake up. And Kramer knows it's playoff time. I got to wake up.
Things always worked out so well for Kramer as well. So.
Right. Well, yeah, they're gonna wake up at some point, and they got to play well. But is it going to be too late? And there are some actual tangible issues with this team that may be weighing them down. You know, they haven't got a lot of rest because guys like Chris Anderson or Andrew Bogut or Larry Sanders, they haven't really got implemented in the system, so they haven't got rest. Kevin Love isn't 100% since his surgery. J.R. Smith is not himself. There are some issues going down the line. Matthew Dellavedova hasn't been replaced defensively, so part of that defensive sort of mentality isn't there. There are real issues. And can you play well for 2 months in the playoffs when you haven't really played well for the last 2 months?
The key for them, I guess, is they don't have to play well for the whole 2 months.
Especially for the first round.
Yeah, they can sort of figure things out in that first round where there are no back-to-backs. They get plenty of time, and they may even get a good rest in between series as well. That's what they need to hope for, because a 6 or 7 game series could really catch up with them if they make it to the conference finals or further.
Wednesday versus Boston. Wednesday.
Huge game.
Yeah, it probably might determine the 1 seed.
All right, Trey, next one.
All right, in the 2 games since he last hurt his left wrist, James Harden has shot just 32% from the field while turning the ball over 6 times per game. But Harden says he won't be resting down the stretch despite the Rockets being seemingly locked into the 3rd seed. Guys, how worried are you about James Harden's wrist?
I think I'm catching the same flight as you, Tassie. I'm level 3 as well. I mean, history has also told us you can't go into the playoffs injured. It will eventually catch up to you. We saw that a little bit with Steph Curry last year when he got injured during the playoffs. He wasn't able to get himself right in the end. And the evidence is starting to show that James Harden's wrist is probably hurting him more than he's letting on. Trey mentioned the last 2 games. Well, let's go back 5 games. His numbers are okay, 30 points and 11 assists. Field goal percentage is down to 41%. He's only 26% from 3-point range, and he's not getting to the line as often. So that tells you either his legs or his wrist are starting to bother him right now.
Sure seems like the wrist, because half the times I've watched him over the last couple of games, he's literally looking at his wrist and going like this and visibly showing you that it's hurt.
Either way, the Rockets would be smart to just give him a game or 2 off because they are locked into that number 3. They're not going to go to 4 and then they can't get to number 2. So they may as well look ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure the Rockets want him to rest,
Yeah.
but the problem, honestly, here is he wants that MVP. He's on the record saying he thinks it's important for an MVP to play, obviously, as many games as possible, 82 if you can, and he can technically play. But he sort of put this team in a tough position here because is he going to try and sort of put his individual goals and the hope of winning an MVP ahead of his team's goals, where it's probably beneficial for him to rest? Because Trey said seemingly locked into the 3rd seed. They really are. I mean, they're 6.5 behind the Spurs, 5 and change or so, 5 up on the Jazz. They're not going anywhere. They're the 3rd seed. So I think he should rest, especially if he's banged up here.
Yeah, I mean, I applaud his determination, and he's like, listen, I'm not sitting out unless I can't walk or can't get out on the floor. But he's got to sometimes look at the bigger picture here.
Yeah, I had a mic in his face on Tuesday, and he said my wrist is injured, but he wants to tough it out. That's the mentality. It's obviously the other end of the spectrum that we've been talking about.
Right.
Guys want to rest, but he wants to play through an injury. Russell Westbrook is likely going to play 82 games. He hasn't missed a game, and James Harden wants to play 82 as well. I would say to him, let's sit down right now so you can get back into a flow before the playoffs. Just sit for a couple games because he literally said, my wrist is banged up, but he wants to fight through it. And I totally understand that he wants to deal with it, but at the same time, you want to win some playoff series.
Right.
Out of any player in the postseason, alongside Russell Westbrook, so much depends on James Harden. One guy that it's dependent upon their success, it's James Harden. He's got to get healthy, right?
For sure. All right, Trey, final one.
All right, the 2017 Basketball Hall of Fame class will be announced this Saturday with Chris Webber and Tracy McGrady headlining the nominees, at least for people our age. They both got strong cases, but neither of them are stone-cold locks. So how worried are you about C-Web and T-Mac's Hall of Fame chances?
I think I'm level 2. Tummy troubles in... Excuse me. Tummy troubles in traffic worried. That's where I'm at. I've had a questionable taco. I-85's closed.
Yeah.
I mean, half of it collapsed. I'm worried,
Yeah.
but
You're
I'm
going
not.
out.
But I'll go another route.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at here, because I don't know if both of these guys. I think they're both deserving Hall of Famers, but it's not up to me. It's up to these mystery 24 people of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, to figure it out. So they got to get 18 of those 24 votes to get in. Will both these guys, both McGrady and C-Webb, get announced on the weekend? I wouldn't lock it in by any means. I would if I had the vote,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure they will, because no rings and not a lot of playoff success either. All-star nods, all-NBA nods. They tend to like, when it comes down to these things sometimes, they like to see some playoff success, and these guys, really can't say they have a whole lot of it.
I think this comes back to the 2002 finals for Chris Webber when they were up 3-2 on the Lakers. They should have won that series and then gone on to win the championship, and I feel he's almost punished and blamed for them not doing that. 15-year career, he's a 20-10 guy for his career.
yeah.
All NBA, five-time All-Star as well. For me, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer,
He's
yeah.
an absolute lock.
Aside from those Western Conference Finals, I mean, and the lack of playoff success for McGrady, these guys are in when compared to a lot of the guys who are already in the Hall of Fame. So I do think they get in also because if there's a year, this is the year.
That is a
because
great point.
there isn't a Yao or a Shaq or an AI like there were last year. And next year, you got a J Kid coming. You got some monstrous names.
Grant Hill would be next year.
Yeah, so this is a nice little fit right here.
Yeah.
It fits in between where these guys are the headliners. We're talking about T-Mac and Chris Webber because they are the headliners. So this is the year for them to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there you see T-Mac, stacking up pretty comparably, I would say, to Weber in terms of seasons played and close to all NBA nods and All-Star nods. He was a 2-time scoring champ. So we will see. We find out this weekend. Again, I believe you got to get 18 of those 24 sort of mystery votes to get in. Best of luck to C-Webb and T-Mac and Tim Hardaway and Sidney Moncrief as well. All right, quick break. When we come back, TAS Awards, the dishonor for worst of the week.
Welcome back to the show. Now's the point of the week where we hand out the dishonor to someone in the NBA family that has done wrong in the eyes of the starters. It's time for the worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
This week's worst of the week is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony will one day be in the Hall of Fame, but his recent actions aren't what you'd call aging gracefully as he approaches the age of 33. Wednesday, a very perplexing post-game media session. After game 75 of the season, when asked what his role is, Melo said, quote, I don't even know what my role is. When asked to elaborate, quote, I think my role is to be there for these guys, the younger guys. I don't think me going out there and trying to score 30 and 40 every night and playing that way is going to help them out at this point. So you know your role. And more on that position, quote, I see the writing on the wall, see what it is, see what they're trying to do, and it's just me accepting that. That's what puts me at peace. This is not peace. This is not the definition of peace. Melo does not like it. When asked about his two-shot scoreless first half, he responded, doesn't do me any good, doesn't do the team any good. Melo can't come to terms with not being the number one guy. Not in New York. He didn't love Linsanity, and 5 years later, those feelings aren't stopping for Kristaps. The Knicks are finally trying something new by reducing Anthony's shots as a byproduct of the triangle. Too little, too late, but can you blame them? This is the fourth consecutive year of missing the playoffs. And what's the benefit of Melo to say anything like this to the media? Nothing. If he does want to get traded, acting as professional as possible helps him get moved. Here's one final Melo snippet from that postgame Wednesday, a notion that actually could put Knicks fans at some level of peace. Quote, it's difficult. It's hard to change a player's game in the ninth inning. I am who I am. I got here all these years playing the way I've been playing. It's hard to take that step back. It's challenging. I think it's for the greater good of everybody on this team. Carmelo Anthony, talking to the media one more time, your worst of the week. Now, is it a step so far back that he actually waives the no trade clause? And that's what Knicks fans may want. Or do they want another 2 years of Phil and Carmelo Anthony? Because they're both signed for another couple of years.
No one wants that.
Yeah, that's what's so perplexing about this.
Yeah, but you said in that, can you blame them being the Knicks organization?
For trying something new.
You can blame them because Melo was in the playoffs doing quite well with the Knicks before Phil Jackson came along, and they haven't done anything since Phil's in there. So I could blame them. I can make a case.
3 years of Carmelo Anthony as the lead guy and no playoffs. This is year 4.
I get it. I mean,
Come on,
he's
you can't blame the locker room at all. It's all on Phil's shoulders.
I think
They have a lot of
I
talent.
think this stuff comes from the top down. Yeah, it obviously infects everybody. It's a plague, and they haven't been great at the top of the organization. Can we
But
agree
there's
on
been
that?
so
Yeah.
much turnover of playing personnel as well. There's been no consistency there. You know, new players
They
coming
go
in.
from playing the triangle
Yeah.
one week to not
Oh.
playing triangle the next week. You know, it goes back and forth. I don't know.
The
I'm
leader's
Team Melo on this
got to
one.
lead. Phil's not
Fair.
shooting the ball.
Leader's got to leave, is what he should do.
This feels a lot like AI post career, but I think Mel's going to find a spot where he is.
I hope so.
Like late in AI's career, where he's, I want to be the guy still. But
see.
anyways. We have an additional runner-up, Alfred Payton of the Orlando Magic. You may know him, the guy with the hair. Well, the hair gets in the way here as he shoots.
What?
He hits his hair as he's shooting free throws. This is crazy. SB Nation did some research, and they brought up these clips of this season where he
Happened
hits.
before.
It's ridiculous.
Like shooting with a baseball hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes he grabs his hair afterwards. And he's improved a little bit. He's around 67%, but
You want him to cut the hair?
well,
Or put it back somehow.
it's kind of in the way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, it is definitely in the way. You
let's-
don't want anything inhabiting you
The
when
free
you're shooting
throw master,
free throws.
here we
No.
go.
I mean, it's probably not great for his eyesight either, you know?
Shadows.
Yeah, he's hitting it and that's awful.
Additional runner-up.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, we got tons here. Runner-up number 2. You may have seen it inside the NBA Thursday after LeBron passed Shaq for 7th on the all-time scoring list. Dennis Scott gave Shaq an award for his new spot at 8th.
He took it well.
Yeah, he was extremely happy. Here's your award. You're the 8th highest scoring man of all time. You got an award. But
Not the bubble wrap.
But why is he a runner-up?
Yeah.
Well, because Dennis Scott is holding. What is he holding? Let's take a quick.
Oh, enhance.
Yes.
Enhance.
Yes.
Hey!
Hey, that's a Starty.
Oh, what?
That is one of our awards that we hand out annually.
Well, Shaq just shattered it.
That's worse than the
look at
year
that.
material.
Look at that. Identical. These are our awards, and we get to hand them out.
Oh, man. Shaq, you owe us a Starty.
4th annual Starties coming up April 14th, 8 o'clock Eastern. Kristen Ledlow hosting. Give out all the awards from MVP all the way down. It's going to be a blast.
All right. Got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to count down the top 10 plays from the past 7 days. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the starters.
Welcome to High Tops. I'm your host, Brent Barry, and you know what we do here. We show you the best moments, the best plays, and the best dunks we can dig up every month of the NBA season.
Thomas loses the ball. A chance to win. Ulis. Unbelievable. That's got to make the top play.
High Tops is back, baby.
High Tops is back tomorrow on NBA TV at noon. But from the plays of the month with High Tops there, we go to the plays of the week. It's time for the starters top 10. At number 10, Terrence Ross. Back in the 6, he's going to add a 3 and a 0.
Oh, nice.
Throwing the 360 down against his former team. Nice. Little steal there. And then he makes
nice
this
finish.
look easy. Yeah.
Got a video tribute that night.
Well deserved.
Yeah,
deserved. I was happy about that.
He loved the city. At number 9, watch Steph Curry hit Andre Iguodala. Baseball pass.
Whoa, yeah.
Oh, that's on the money!
Oh, Iggy.
Oh, what a finish!
Music fans.
Oh, if he had dunked that'd be number 1.
Andre Iguodala is starting to feel it too with the Warriors right now. It's
Yeah, I
getting
was
a
saying
little.
something.
Yes,
Warming up. What a pass.
gorgeous stuff.
Good stuff. We got some great dimes in this top 10. Another one here from Nikola Jokic with his now patented no-look over-the-head dime. If this was Bulls versus Blazers in the NBA playoffs for the Sega Genesis, this would be his signature move, I'm telling you.
The no-look
Oh, when you put it that way.
None of the kids know what I'm talking about.
At number 7, this pass is ridiculous. Ricky Rubio behind the back to Brandon Rush. So smooth. This angle is great here.
Oh, that's nice.
That's like a 45, 50-foot pass.
Zero hesitation, too.
Yeah,
Just
just
grabs it off the
bang.
floor, whips it.
Right on the money.
Yes, perfectly in stride.
Right on the money. We stick with the Wolves at number 6. Little defense turning into very easy offense. But it's Karl Anthony Towns with the very sweet reverse, sort of rocking the baby to sleep there.
Catman-do.
Oh, Lee, every week. I have to say
don't.
Catman-do every time we see Karl Anthony Towns.
I do.
At number 5, 2 very similar blocks. Get out! David Nwaba.
Oh, watch out in the fifth row.
No more of that. And then Torian Prince, get out!
Oh, man.
Yeah, you better not be on your phone there in the first couple of rows.
We need the hockey glass up almost in basketball these days.
At number 4, the Croatian Mario Hezonja is going to dunk on the Turk. Enes Kanter there. We haven't heard much from Hezonja.
Keto Turkoglu? Oh, no, Enes Kanter.
No, that's Kanter. But this is a nice dunk. He hangs a little bit and then punches it home right there at the end. We thought we'd be seeing more of that, I think, from him.
Only year 2. Let's have faith. At
Okay.
number 3, 2 big blocks from LeBron James. Oh!
Dunks.
2 big block my dunks. Huge!
I thought
Hammer.
Zipser was going to get him there.
Yeah, I was like,
And watch this. Loses David Licia and then ran on Pau Gasol.
That's mean.
Yeah.
That's just mean.
How's on his yearly poster?
how dare you. At number 2, it is the Greek Freak coming up with the steal. And then he's going to give us a windmill.
Oh my God.
Is he on the ground when he
that?
throws it down?
It looks crazy, doesn't it?
If this was Bulls versus Blazers, you think this would be a signature move?
Definitely.
It's up there.
2 dribbles from the backcourt. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Is that 1 from mid-court, right?
Yeah.
Wow. At number 1, James Johnson destroying Marcus Morris. Marquis felt that one.
Yeah, lucky there's a second Morris.
He knees him right in the chest.
Blood sport forever. Oh, Willie can't believe it. Dunk. There it is. Top 10 plays. When we come back, Lily is very solid. Don't go anywhere. We asked you earlier in the show what other NBA players look like movie characters. You hit us up on Twitter, #TheStarters. TK got some great answers.
Yeah, no doubt. Rodwan says the obvious choice here is Jeremy Lin and his uncanny comparison to Jimmy Neutron. I'll assume they made a movie out of that as well. Vince says Rondo looks like Franklin the Turtle. And Fat Steph Curry says, I know he's not an NBA player, but Skeets looks like comedian Neil Brennan.
Okay.
And honestly, I think he might
uncanny?
be right. It's pretty accurate,
Okay.
all things considered.
Yeah, you'll just. Oh, there I am.
There he is. Skeets, Neil Brennan, you choose.
No, I don't think so.
Cameraman Rick says, nah.
Yeah. Rick, no?
I don't know. I think
You're more handsome, Skeets.
Yeah, I'm funnier too. Tonight's pick and play. I'm just kidding, he's very funny. Nuggets Hornets. Wow, this is a big game. Lee, you're still alive, baby.
Somehow.
You got the Nuggets. I'm with you on that. Tass obviously has the Hornets. You guys could end up in a tie, and we'll figure it out if you do for the end
Let's
of the
go
month.
drive up to the game.
VSP, where are you
Heading
going,
out to the Palace. It's 1 from the Nets, and it's finished with KJ, don't call me Xavier McDaniels in the corner. Beautiful, beautiful finish. Here it is again. No, it's not. That's what I call a very solid play.
Yeah, it's Friday. We recorded the Drop podcast today, debated MVPs, who we'd like to see win the draft lottery, and traded his best Heat play-by-play man impersonation.
Welcome to another night of Miami Heat basketball. I'm Eric Reed here with Coach Tony Fiorentino. We got the 107th meeting between the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. Coach, you remember a few years ago they met a couple of times in the Eastern Conference Finals? Yeah, that's right. That's right, Eric.
Eric. If only Tony Fiorentino only had to say Eric, I could crush it.
All right, so check out the Drop podcast. That's it for us tonight. We will see you on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. No show on Monday.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, no show on Monday, DNP NCAA final for the starters.
Brace the weekend, people. Long weekend to us.